Hey babes, welcome back to another episode of the Babe That's Bonkers podcast. I'm your host, Kaylee Faria, and I'm super happy to have you here, super happy to be here. I am just gonna wing things today. We can figure out like a theme to the episode at the end, see what my brain had in store for us, a surprise to us all. I just got back from my California trip, so I've got a good chunk of life updates for you, some fun stories, and yeah, I also just kind of want to talk about, I don't know, I feel my mindset shifting. I feel my energy shifting, to get all hippie with it. And yeah, I just want to share some of those thoughts with you guys today. I'm also just having a jam-packed day today, scheduling wise. So I think we're going to keep rocking and rolling with the shorter episodes for now. I'm not trying to be too strict with the time things at the moment. So if you have any feedback on what you prefer, long videos, short videos, feel free to comment below, share that. But really, I ramble however long I ramble at this point, and it is what it is. But today I'm busy, so we've got to be laser focused. That is the goal today. To jump just right into the life update, I just got back from California. My family is from this little, not so little town called Visalia in just like the Central Valley, and there's just like a lot of agricultural fields and stuff around. I grew up on a farm. I think I've maybe shared that. Yeah, it was really nice to visit, especially in the fall. We don't have much of a fall here in Arizona. We have the hot season and the cold season. And sometimes there's like a rainy season sprinkled in between. And it just kind of is what it is. But back home, they have lots of trees, which are, pause for my dog drinking water. Really just, he's thirsty. Alrighty. I forgot what I was talking about. Yeah, bro, I don't want your dribbles. He does this every time. He drinks his water and then he wants to like wipe his face on me as a sign of love, and it's gross. Dogs are gross. I love them, but they're gross. Anywho. The trees back home are just really beautiful. They change, some dog ear flopping back there. But the leaves are just changing color. Some of them are just like the most beautiful ombre, from like yellow to orange to red. It was really incredible. We collected a lot of leaves. I'm very, very excited to make a little scrapbook of all the leaves we collected. I don't know if I just want to like have pages where the leaves are just displayed, or if I want to like write notes about them. I don't know. I'll figure it out as I go along, but I'm very excited about that because it's just something I haven't gotten to experience anymore now that I live in Arizona. And don't get me wrong, up like north, there are fall trees and whatnot. Not all of Arizona isn't just fallless, autumnless, but it is here down south. So yeah, it's just given me a new appreciation for my hometown and the like beautiful visuals that they have to offer. Just like, I don't know, growing up there, you kind of just become desensitized. Like, I don't know. I think you get the gist of what I'm trying to say. But yeah, we also spent Thanksgiving with my family, which was lovely. Always lovely to get to spend some quality time with family, especially the older I get, the more I appreciate all these little memories that we're making, especially just like the wholesome, simple ones. I no longer stress the way I used to when I was younger, like a teenager, about trying to make like every moment picture perfect and movie like or whatever. And I just kind of go with the flow of things, and I'm just kind of happy to be there for the most part. And it was a little different. I'm a big fan of just like all the little families getting together, all the cousins and everything. But for my family personally, it just didn't work out like that this year. And that happens every few years, every few holidays. People just make different plans, and that's okay. But I am quite eager to introduce my partner to all my cousins because I think they will get along and have lots and lots of fun. So we're going to have to go back for another holiday in the new year to try to just get everyone together. And yeah, it's just the older I get, the more I want to connect with my people a little bit more while still having like enough personal space and boundaries to like be content with our relationship, I guess you could say. I don't know. Just learning how to navigate things, constantly changing my mind, yada, yada, yada. And, it was a good time. Everyone, made wonderful food. My partner and I put together the charcuterie board this year, which was very fun. Haven't made one of those in a while. I used to go pretty hard with the charcuterie back in college, but yeah, less often these days. So that was a fun little something something. My dad barbecued this stuffing, so it had this like cool smoky flavor, and yeah, it was delicious. It was different than what we normally have, and I'm a huge stuffing fan. Huge stuffing fan. I've never had bad stuffing. It's always a good time no matter what recipe you're using, I think. And that was really cool. We also deep pitted our turkey. It's like when you have a bonfire and there's like this really big hole, then the fire's gone and you put all the meat in it and you cover it up. Then you like slow cook it in there and everything gets just like steamy, I guess. And then, you take it out of the hole in the morning. My dad has a friend who like has a system, and it's been like, I don't know, just like their thing to go, not every year, but almost every year, to do something like that. And it is just delicious. The most moist turkey. Yes, I said moist. I don't care if you don't like that word. It is important for culinary judgments. And it was a moist turkey. It just like, didn't do the thing where the turkey dries out, even with the leftovers that were in the fridge. And that is very impressive, if I do say so myself. So it was really good. Stepmom made homemade cranberry sauce, and that was delicious. Step-grandma made jalapeno popper dip, and that was amazing. That's a recipe I definitely need to get my hands on one of these days, because I'm not really a spicy person, but that's just like the perfect amount of spice because it's also very creamy. It balances out very well, and yeah, it was awesome. It was a good Thanksgiving, so that was lovely. There's my little update for ya. I hope you had a lovely Thanksgiving, or if you didn't, I hope it was at least very entertaining. To continue yapping on about my California trip, before we like did the whole Thanksgiving thing and like the family visits, going to see all the friends, doing the things in the hometown, we went to Yosemite National Park. My partner and we did. I don't know why I'm talking like Yoda these days, but I don't know, kind of fun. Anywho, we went to Yosemite, and the plan was to go camping. Weather report told me it would be snowy, so we were very prepared, because I know that like snow can be such a fun time if you're prepared and if you kind of know what you're doing, but if you're unprepared, the weather can definitely, ruin a trip a little bit, be not so fun of a time. And this was our first camping trip together, and our first time just like doing it ourselves. I don't know, I've gone camping as a kid, but usually there was some adult who was guiding the process. So I was just figuring things out, and it was honestly a hoot, like collecting the things, packing, just like thinking about it. I don't know. I love traveling. I love outdoorsy things, and just getting the opportunity to actually do those things just really lights a fire in me. And it starts with packing. It's like stressful but fun. It's, collecting, gathering, playing Tetris to like make everything fit. And I really, really enjoyed that. I do think that I'm going to be putting out a YouTube video very, very soon, doing a review of like what camping gear we used and enjoyed and would highly recommend, and which things we got but didn't really use. But, we'll see what we do with them in the future. So be on the lookout for that. I'm sure I will share with you when that is actually in motion. But just know it's coming soon, because I learned a lot. We learned a lot on this trip, and it was not a super snowy time. It was a snowy, rainy time, and that kind of goofed things up. We did have a wonderful time just like seeing the trees, Half Dome, El Capitan, and all those things that Yosemite has to offer. And it's honestly kind of nice going in the winter when, a lot of the park is closed, because then that kind of just like narrows down all the decisions to like make of like what you're gonna go and try and see and all that jazz, because it really is such a huge park. And then like now that we've seen certain things, if we go during a different season when other parts are open, we can just focus on those places. You know what I mean? So I was definitely, very content with that. Not at all disappointed that some of the park was closed, because it is huge. And honestly, I did want to like vlog the whole experience, but frankly, I was way too focused in the moment on just like what we were doing, whether that was like driving or setting up the tent, unpacking all of it. Everything was just kind of like a mission, and there was just no time or room for lollygagging. Like we were just like getting it done, and we did indeed. The first night we had a fire going, and that was lovely. Made some tomato soup and probably the worst grilled cheese I've ever made on the fire, but it's okay. We ate it, and the food was nice and warm, and that was wonderful. I did want to make some like campfire chili. I brought all this food to like cook on the fire, but the rest of the trip was just so wet. We were just eating our dried fruits and dried meats and PB&Js and everything else that just didn't need to be like heated up. And eventually we made decisions to just drive down to like Yosemite Village and get food at restaurants, because where our campsite was very, very close to everything. It was actually right against a road, and it was all right. It had bathrooms, which was nice, and always thankful for those when in camping situations. The experience did get me really thinking about just like our nature time and whatnot. And I'm always the type of person who would rather be alone. I want to be not where the people are. If I'm going to like go into nature to spend time with nature, then I want to hang out with nature, not necessarily like a bunch of people who are like doing their own thing. And it's fine and wonderful that so many other people in the world want to enjoy nature and all of its beauty and all that jazz. But I've realized that some of the national parks like Grand Canyon, Yosemite are just so popular. Even if you're going like on the off season, not the best time, it's still gonna be quite busy, and there's gonna be lots of people. We had no problems getting a campsite, but the lodges across the street were indeed jam packed, and I was just like kind of surprised. I think I just haven't put myself in that type of situation in nature in a while. We have this little tiny mountain kind of near us called Mount Lemon, and it's adorable, and a lot of people from Tucson do drive up there to do their nature time because it is close, but it is just a lot easier to kind of feel the seclusion and whatnot. It's not as busy as something as popular as Yosemite, which absolutely makes sense. And don't get me wrong, the park is beautiful. And there were also some waterfalls that were still going, which was really, really cool. I was afraid that, since it was winter time, that the water wouldn't be flowing, but the temperature was just like toggling in between like freezing and not freezing, which is why there was like a mixture of snow and rain that we received on the trip. And I really do believe that snow is fun, rain is more challenging, because snow like solidifies. It can just become a thing, and I don't know, maybe I just think that like having snow is fun and like the precipitation part of things is hard. It was really just quite the experience, and like most trips and pretty much everything in life, it absolutely did not go according to plan. But my partner and I were talking, and it's like the experiencing self, the one who was like there in the moment figuring everything out, was very focused, maybe a little bit stressed, but handling the camping thing is kind of like a test on like survival mode. Like we weren't actually like having to survive in the wilderness. Like our car was there, people were there, we had our things, you know what I mean? But also kind of, because we were just trying our best to make sure that we had like food and shelter and warmth and all that jazz. So it was just like, I don't know, a little bit of a challenge. So the like reflecting self really enjoys those types of things. I love challenging myself, especially if it's to do something that I've always wanted to do. And winter camping in Yosemite, like rain, snow, or shine. Like, that's pretty badass in my opinion. And yeah, it was just really cool to, I don't know, just have all those experiences to learn from. And now I feel super duper comfortable with camping, like when the weather's nice, especially somewhere that's pretty close. And we have a bunch of gear. Like, one of my favorite things about planning little trips like this is just having like an excuse to start collecting gear, just like little pieces at a time. Like, my partner and I, we had very solid backpacks, but this time we decided to collect some sleeping bags to add to our outdoor gear collection. And thankfully we have friends that we can borrow gear from. And, you know, we had everything that we needed to like do our thing. And I don't know, it's just really cool because now we're even more prepared to do stuff like this next time. And soon, when our collection is complete, we have like one of everything and whatnot, then we'll have no excuses to, you know, not spend a lot, the majority of our free time, just like out and about in nature, experiencing all the cool things, having the adventures, you know? I will also say, like, I truly feel like one of my life purposes is to travel. I think that I have like a gypsy soul. Like, whenever I graduated, I was just so eager to go someplace new. And yeah, Arizona's not that far from California, but it's new and it's different and it's been awesome. But I'm also ready to kind of start my next adventure. Just kind of thinking of, you know, the next places I might want to spend the next like chunk of my life in, and experiencing and adventuring within and all that jazz. And I don't know, I just feel totally comfortable with the idea of just like hopping from place to place every once in a while. It's what's going to give me the best chance of experiencing as much of like just what the world has to offer as possible. You know, I just think that that will be easier if you are migrating, so you have the opportunity to see the different views and eat the different foods and meet the different people. And if you're, you know, traveling far enough, experiencing the different cultures. But honestly, you can go not so far and, you know, have, there's like all these like pockets of like mini micro cultures within different towns and cities. And it's just, it's all very, very cool. And I just think that that's the kind of lifestyle that I personally gravitate towards versus, you know, wanting to just like stay in the same spot 100% of the time. And I don't know, ideas that I am constantly like conflicting, because I would also like to have a homestead, and, you know, plants and animals don't really migrate that way. So we'll just see where life takes me. These are just like elements that I want included in my life, and the way that they're included, I am not like strictly like tethered to like these ideas, if that makes sense. And I think that's important to just like be flexible, because as much as you might have a plan for your life, the universe also has a plan, and frankly, like, that's the one that's going to happen because that's what's meant for you, versus like what you might think is meant for you. You know, your ego has some ideas of its own, and frankly, it's not in control of things and doesn't really account for all the things that are out of control, out of your control. So anywho, that's like a ramble in itself. But yeah, traveling just really does something for me. And even though it is really stressful in a lot of different ways, I was just finding myself like on my way back home on the drive, just like sitting in the passenger seat, because I drove the first shift in the early morning. So I was just chilling at that point, and I saw like a license plate that said like 777, and then I opened my phone to go look at like the different angel number meanings, because I just think that stuff is cute and sweet and interesting. And it was 1111 on my phone. I'm like, oh my goodness, 777, 1111. Like, these are just the best vibes I could possibly ask for, I do think. And all the angel number stuff was just telling me that, like, you know, you're just like whatever intentions you have right now is like what you're manifesting, and it's just exactly like what's meant for you. You're in the right place at the right time, doing the right things, type thing. And I will also say I'm not an expert on like numerology and all that jazz, so, you know, take everything I say with a grain of salt, per usual. And I don't know, it was just one of those moments where prior to that, in those moments, I like to just like think of what I was thinking about whenever I like see those numbers, to see if anything connects. And I really was just like thinking about like, I am so ready to just embrace the new year and the like energy that brings to just like get your shit together and like do your thing. And I just want to be one of those people whose body's a temple. I feel like now that I'm done traveling, I can get settled back into my life and back into my routine. And I am just ready to kick some ass for myself. I really want to start weightlifting. I haven't really had that desire for a while. I've very much just been in my yoga zone, but I just have the urge to start weightlifting again. I'm just like craving that feeling of being stronger and pushing myself in that way. I also want to start swimming again. That is something that I just think was like super, super beneficial when I was doing it. And, you know, these are things that are going to help me develop discipline in my life, which is then going to help me in other areas of my life. And I'm ready for it. Like somehow traveling, and maybe it was just like the being stagnant, sitting in the car for so long. I'm just like, I have the energy to do fucking everything right now. And, you know, it's still with me. And, you know, we're still getting our shit together from like unpacking. We're still getting our shit together from unpacking and just, you know, like resetting from our travels and all that jazz. But as we're getting into these things, I don't know. I feel different. I feel like traveling just really recharged me in a way that I haven't experienced in a long time. And it makes sense. Whenever I like look back on past seasons of life where I was doing a lot of traveling, I think of it as some of just like the best seasons of my life, and the way I felt was just truly myself. And yeah, it's one of those things that I know I'm meant to be doing based on the way it makes me feel. And it is very comparable to the way like being in nature makes me feel. And I did go and do that for a little bit, so kind of makes sense. But it was also more than that, you know what I mean? Because it wasn't just my camping trip, it was also like a family visit and hometown visit and seeing people, visiting friends and all that jazz. And yeah, I just feel very awakened and focused, and I'm just here to like ride that momentum to a place where I just feel like fucking amazing. Like I am just ready to fuel my body with the best food and, you know, take care of it in a way that makes me more flexible and mobile and stronger and capable. And yeah, I'm ready to feel good. I'm ready to challenge myself. I also feel very motivated in like my like personal creative endeavors. Like I've had so many creative ideas recently, I just cannot keep up. And it's been making me think of this quote that, I don't know, I just think of all the time. It's something where like, you know, if you're a creative and you have an idea, you have to like feed into it immediately if you want it to come to fruition. Otherwise, it is simply going to be crowded out by your new creative ideas. Because as a creative person and a creative mind, you're just constantly coming up with things. So if you have an idea that's like really sticking, it's a sign that you just have to like do it. Like it's really meant for you to like bring to life type of thing. And I don't know if that's the whole quote, but that's just like the way I think of that whole concept. I don't know. I heard it from somewhere and I built upon it myself, and here we are. But yeah, I'm just ready to like grind with that. Yeah, I'm just ready to grind. I feel like I haven't grinded in a while, and it's because every time I have like gotten back on the horse of just like grinding in my life, it has been like for someone else in a way, you know, working in like the corporate world or whatever, and or just like working for other people, and that like burns me out. But I am super ready to just like start grinding in all the categories of my life that involve taking care of myself and fulfilling myself. And you know, it's not like I'm trying to enter this season where I'm just like being selfish and not thinking of anyone else. In fact, it's the opposite. I know that if I give myself this type of love, this type of care that it's been desiring and deserving for a while, and once I get to that point, then all of my other relationships with other people in my life are going to just thrive that much more. And this is just like the big main conclusion that I've come to with like all the different lessons I feel like life has been teaching me and reteaching me over the past few years. This just has to be my focus. I need to do what it takes to make my body feel good. I need to do what it takes to make my soul feel good. I'm ready for it. I'm ready to get my shit together, and I'm excited about it. I'm not scared. I'm not intimidated. And I think that's what's different. It doesn't feel like this overwhelming, daunting task. I don't know what it is about like depression, but I think whenever you like really take the time to like do what's meant for you, and for me, I think that it is just like spending time in nature, traveling and creating, that type of thing. And there's just like something about like doing enough of those things to like fully recharge yourself, and also just like letting go of other stressors in life that for me just seems to like really help combat my depression. And all of a sudden this just like switch flips in my brain, and I wish I had more control of it, and maybe I do have more control over it than I think I do, but we're still figuring things out in that department. But yeah, I just feel like on the drive home there was just something that just like clicked for me, and it's like, yep, now I have all the energy I have been waiting to have to actually do the things I want to do with my life. And it's weird because I do have a lot of, I don't want to say like rails, but I don't know. There are just like a lot of different life circumstances that are currently still in my way, I guess you could say. And that is still very stressful, but it almost has me like even more motivated to just like figure it out, because I'm tired of it. I'm tired of life getting in my way to just, I'm tired of life getting in my way on my journey to becoming the best version of myself, the happiest version of myself. I feel like I've just been that person pushing the boulder up the mountain, and life's just been like flicking it back down on me, and I'm over it. I'm over it. This next time I'm pushing the boulder up, I'm just going to be stronger than life, and I'm just going to roll right over it. At least that's just like how I'm feeling. And yeah, even right now today, I have so much to do, and I'm not prepared in many different ways, shapes, or forms, but here I am. I got ready. I'm podcasting. I'm doing the thing, checking things off my to-do list, and I have the mentality of all these things I have planned to do today, I'm going to get them done. Like, there is just no other option, and that's just how I need to be moving forward. And it's going to give me a life that I am very excited to be living, I do think. And I just really hope that it doesn't burn me out, that I don't go too crazy, because I do have a history of going a little bit too hard when it comes to the grinding, and I do get the burnout and whatnot. But this time's gonna be different. I'm confident. I have new tools in my tool belt to, work with the burnout and prepare for it, perhaps. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how life goes. I think these things, and sometimes they just don't go how I think they will. And that just reminds me that, life makes its own decisions. I don't make all the decisions, and that's okay. I just need to accept things for as they are. And I think that I have been really, really rambling. Yeah, I've just been rambling a bit more than I expected. But the next thing I wanted to share is just a little bit of astrology stuff. And this is something I've just been thinking about for a long time. And I do plan to talk about it more as we get closer to the new year. But, it's relevant in my life today. So we're going to talk about it today also. But as I've been trying to re-enter this mindset of, my body's a temple, it's time to meet all my basic needs. It's time to do all the things that fulfill me and, start pursuing all of my different dreams. I have realized that in a past season of life where I was just kind of happier and specifically had a more positive outlook on life and everything, I was consuming more content that was just like astrology, numerology, tarot readings, like that type of thing, all the different like witchy, cosmic, woo-woo stuff. And I do think that there really is something to it whenever I have like parallel experiences with random people in my life, like, oh, I had a weird dream, you had a weird dream, and there was just like some sort of parallel theme. It does make me think like there's just something up with the stars. And again, we can just deep dive into, my thoughts and opinions on all of these things overall another day, but I just want to point out that when I took the time to consume this content, it really just helped me develop that positive mindset because it gave me a place, and because it kind of gave me like what to look for. I'm a firm believer in you always find what you're looking for. If you're looking for negative things, you're going to find them. If you're looking for things that are wrong, you're going to find them. If you're looking for things that are right, positive things like signs from the universe that everything is going to be all right, then that is what you're going to find. And I was really, really good about that and felt so connected to the universe and the energy of everything and everyone, like all the things that were just happening around me. I just felt super in tune and, just almost the most myself I've ever felt, if that makes sense. And so, I'm just having this little realization that, whenever I was doing these things and I was consuming this type of content, I felt a certain type of way. Maybe there's a correlation that now that I no longer take the time or put in the energy to do these things, I no longer feel that way. So here we are trying to take control of what we're doing and how we feel in our life. And we are jumping back into the astrology things. And yeah, I just wanted to talk about this one specific post I came across and just, what the stars are up to these days, at least as of when I'm recording this. So if you're having like similar experiences that like align with this, please let me know, because, I love me some good confirmation bias that the things I'm reading on the internet are true. Anywho, that was jokes. But this one account I follow called The Cosmic Latte on Instagram, I am a huge fan of. Just the different like astrology guides she puts out just make a lot of sense, and it's like, I don't know, just the perfect amount of information in my mind. So recently, like on December 1st, today's like the 3rd or 4th, today's the 4th, I do believe. So it's been a couple days, but I just wanted to like share this, talk about it, whatnot. But we just had a new moon in Sagittarius. So one of their posts mentioned the definition of the new moon. It's when the sun conjoins the moon, a fresh lunar cycle is born, which makes sense. New moon, new beginning. That's how I'm trying to like remember that. And the post talks about how new moons attune your energy to an abundance of potential. You're in the cusp of like a transformation. And, whether this type of thing is like true or not, I think it never hurts. Just be like, yeah, you know what? I am, in the process of making a transformation. Like I am trying to transform into a better version of myself. So I'm going to take this opportunity to learn from the symbolism of this new moon that is happening above me, and I'm going to be really intentional with like the energy I'm putting into things right now. At least that's how like I'm thinking of it. Also talks about like Sagittarius specifically as like a constellation, being a mutable fire sign. It's an experiential learner. It's about trusting the process and gaining wisdom through experience. And then it kind of ties the two together to really explain like what's happening during this new moon in Sagittarius. And I'm just going to read the whole thing. The new moon in Sagittarius conjoins retrograde Mercury, stirring an expansive yet paradoxical energy. Avoid overplanning or becoming too attached to specific outcomes. Wow. See, some of these things just feel so relatable because I do have issues becoming very attached to specific outcomes, but it's kind of been like a theme I've been talking about. So like, I'm not making this shit up, that I just want to practice just being more flexible and letting different things roll off me and just being more accepting of just whatever's happening, just letting go of that kind of control. I do desire control in a lot of different ways. I'm definitely like a planner, and that's just something that I will probably always have to be working through because life doesn't plan. It just happens. The post has a lot of different information. I'm not going to go through and read like each different like signs horoscope type thing for this little season of Sagittarius and new moon, but you can go check that out yourself. However, I do want to go through like what they recommend doing less of and what they recommend doing more of, because that's what I find really interesting, and that's like a little bit more universal. Like when it comes to the horoscopes, let's be real, I only read my own and sometimes my partner's, if I'm feeling a little curious on what they might be thinking, because obviously that helps me read minds and whatever. But other than that, I don't really read anybody else's. Like, oh well, it's kind of like, no offense, but it's a little irrelevant to me sometimes. But this stuff is, all encompassing. It's about the season. It's for everyone. So that's the kind of stuff that I'm going to take the time to share. So with the new moon in Sagittarius, there should be less narrow thinking, over planning, running from stress, rushing the process, distractions. And, I feel that. I am over being distracted. Like, I feel so focused. Like so focused. And when I think about it, yeah, I guess I was driving back on the 2nd, so that was like right after the new moon. So it kind of makes sense that day I just had I just felt the energy of like, I'm focused, I'm ready. This is just here. This is clicking. And less running from stress. I do feel that. I feel just ready to just like take on a lot of stressors in my life. I feel like there's so many of them and they've been, in my way for so long. I'm just gonna freaking fix them if I can. And on the flip side, what it suggests to have like more of in your life is just big picture thinking, flexible outcomes, enjoying the journey, optimistic patience. We could always use a little bit more of that. Optimistic patience, like both of those things, optimism and patience, tying them together, I think would be just so valuable to embody personally. And then it gives off, a few like new moon rituals. The first one is forest bathing. And I need to do more research in this. Like, is it just like hanging out in the forest? Is it like a nudist practice? Because I don't know, probably not. But if it's just like hanging out in the forest, like I could forest bathe all the time. Like, I'm just gonna sit there and like soak in the energy of the forest. Like, is that what we're talking about? Because that sounds amazing. I cannot possibly think of a better way to recharge. Honestly, when I'm doing that, when I'm like sitting in the forest and talking about like recharging in nature, I do just like imagine like little orange like speckles of light, whatever like pixie dust looks like on TV, television, just like, slowly drifting out of the trees and into my spirit. And that's why I feel better after hanging out in nature, obviously. Other new moon rituals it recommends is, some burning rituals, probably because, Sagittarius is a fire sign or whatever. And, some yoga poses, some different crystals, stones you can, use if you do that kind of thing. And the last one, which I like, is kind of like a heated workout, steam room, sauna type thing. I've only done hot yoga once, but I did really like it. It was really crazy how sweaty you get. You sweat so much. It was wild. And yeah, the sauna is also something I want to do more regularly, just after doing research on like saunas and cold plunges, ice baths, that type of thing. That type of thing. I want to do all the healthy things. So yeah, I'm gonna be weight training very soon in the future, and after that, hopefully, I will be hopping in the sauna for a little bit, and hopefully, all of life's problems will be solved, and I will just be the happiest, healthiest, hottest human on the planet, and life will be good finally. So yeah, that's enough rambling for today. I thought it was going to be a little bit shorter of an episode, but per usual, I have yapped and yapped and yapped. So I hope you have been decently entertained. I still have no idea what I'm going to name this episode, but I'm sure as I listen to myself speak over and over again in the editing process, something will stick out to me. And I do hope that you join us for some more rants and rambles next week, next Thursday, next first Friday, if you will. And I do think that next week is going to be like 12 Days of Christmas recipe edition. You know, we're going to have some sweets, we're going to have some savories. I just want to talk about food more. Maybe it's just the wintertime hibernation vibes. Like, I want to be cozy and eat cozy foods and cookies and things like that. So, yeah, we're going to be chit-chatting recipes, and it's going to be a wonderful, wonderful time. So, if you want to make sure that you don't miss out on that, please follow, subscribe, like, comment, turn the little notification thingamabobs on, and you won't miss a thing. If you're looking for more content, go ahead and check out the show notes. Should be some discount codes down there for my Etsy shop if you want to be buying some pictures. There should be new ones coming very, very soon from my Yosemite adventures. So yeah, just something to check out if you're interested. If not, that's okay. My art's not for everyone, but you know, if it is for you, that could be cool. Anywho, yeah, I just appreciate support in all the different ways. It would just make the biggest difference and be super duper helpful. And yeah, we're all about sharing the love over here, you know, and I love you guys. Thank you so much for joining me today. Truly, it means the world to get to spend my Thursdays with you. And yeah, thanks for keeping me going and for being here. So let's have some fun. And until next time, bye, babes.